Okay, so you learned a little bit about Canada, but there's still lots to go on. We'll obviously be learning a lot throughout this course. But how do we define Canada? There's many ways that we can look at Canada through culture, through sport, through environment, through industry. Something as simple as the Tim Hortons Cup sometimes says Canada to people. In all honesty, I could keep on clicking here, picture upon picture upon picture, and not run out of ideas of how to define Canada. However, the easiest way for us to understand Canada is to break it down into its separate parts, and that's what you're going to be doing in this activity coming up. You're going to be looking at individual provinces or territories. What I'm going to do now is give you a brief introduction to the Canadian provinces, or I guess it will be a reintroduction since you are already somewhat familiar with them. So we start in British Columbia on the west, our westernmost province. Major cities include Vancouver and Victoria. It's very well known for the Rocky Mountains, but also having the Pacific Ocean on the west coast as well. We have Alberta, right beside British Columbia, a province of diversity since on the left side or on the west side it does have the mountains, the Rocky Mountains, but it also does have the flat prairies starting on the east side. So we get a number of different industries ranging from tourism all the way to agriculture in Alberta. Next we have Saskatchewan, and as the picture and the flag on this slide shows, it is a flat province and known as the breadbasket of our country. We do a lot of farming in this province here, and a lot of our consumption stems from what Saskatchewan provides for us. Now Manitoba, you all probably know Manitoba for Winnipeg. I know a lot of people from Northern Ontario travel there, but there is lots more to Manitoba. On top of agriculture, tourism is also a booming industry here, and it's really a very fast and growing population in the Canadian provinces and territories. Now here's home for us. All of us here live in Ontario, Northern Ontario. I'm from Southern Ontario. That picture on the bottom right is actually where I'm from. But we all know Ontario for such places as Niagara Falls and Toronto. A whole whack of different things that you can do in Ontario. The list goes on and on and on and on. Now Quebec, where our French culture stems from. We have a huge population of French Canadians in Quebec. Cities like Quebec City and Montreal should all ring bells for people. Lots of things to do in Quebec aside from historical tourism. There's also just adventure tourism, as you can see with the skiing. And the culture there is just so deep, it's endless opportunities. Next we have New Brunswick, so now we're moving our way out to the east coast. Here we have industries such as the fisheries and energy, but we also have huge tourism sectors with the Bay of Fundy and all these adventure tourisms that are happening there. Nova Scotia, on the other side of the Bay of Fundy from New Brunswick. Once again, industries such as fishing are big here, but we also do have the outdoor adventurism that happens in all of the maritime provinces in Nova Scotia as well. Prince Edward Island, our smallest province. Prince Edward Island, for me, I know it as the potato province because anytime you eat a red potato, most of the times it's coming from Prince Edward Island, famous for its red clay shores. Anne of Green Gables is something you might also be familiar with. It originates from Prince Edward Island as well. Newfoundland Labrador, our easternmost province. This is where we're going to do our whale watching, our puffin seeing. Everything that you can do on the ocean, you can do in Newfoundland and Labrador. There's also a huge oil industry off the shore of Newfoundland, if you've ever heard of the Hibernia. To our north, starting on the westernmost territory, we have the Yukon. Yukon is a booming place for outdoor adventure tourism. The mountains, the Arctic, the wildlife, the water, everything is there, and the industry there supports that. Next we have our Northwest Territories, recently split, and we'll get to what it's split up into in a second here. Once again, similar to the Yukon, we have huge outdoor tourism here. We also have a huge chunk of our Inuit population here, and as you'll see if you ever do get a chance to go there, that culture is very, very vibrant in the Northwest Territories, as it is in Nunavut. where we see more of our Inuit culture and more of our wildlife. In Nunavut, our newest territory to Canada, we have a growing sector, a developing territory. So that's Canada for you, obviously in a nutshell, but there's lots more that can be learned about this great nation. Now it's your turn to do a little more research, so go down further into the activity and pick your selection and do some research. I hope you have fun.